Welcome to the 2021 University of Washington School of Law Commencement Program. Please welcome Dean Mario L. Barnes, University of Washington School of Law, Tony Remby Dean, and Professor of Law.
Hello, everyone. I'm Dean Mario Barnes, and I want to welcome you to the 2021 commencement exercises of the University of Washington School of Law. I would like to begin our ceremony with a land acknowledgement. The University of Washington acknowledges the Coast Salish peoples of this land, the land which touches the shared waters of all tribes and of all bands within the Suquamish, Tulalip, and Muckleshoot nations. I'm honored to join you in this moment of celebration for your many accomplishments. This year, we are recognizing about 275 graduates from more than 20 countries. I'm pleased to welcome everyone to our virtual graduation ceremony. While this ceremony will differ than the in-person celebration that we had hoped to host, I'm heartened that more family and friends of our graduates will be able to join us from anywhere around the globe. It is my great honor to be the first to say congratulations to the amazing class of 2021. For most of the year, I have referred to this academic year as a year like no other. On the one hand, it is obvious that that phrase refers to the unique challenges our community has endured due to the ongoing global pandemic, which has touched the lives of far too many of our families and friends, our national reckoning over historic and current instances of racialized police violence, our recent moments of unprecedented political unrest, and the economic and social distress these events have produced. Every challenge, however, produces an opportunity to meet the moment. And while I will not minimize the difficulties of our current moment, I could not be prouder of the care, concern, and resilience demonstrated by the faculty, staff, and students within our UW Law community. Thank you all for showing up every day to provide a top-notch legal education to our students in spite of needing to do so for the first time in our history, largely through virtual means. Thank you for showing up to support our community mental health during this period of extended isolation. Thank you for working to ensure that we have continued to provide the critical support to the community's service through our clinics, pro bono programs, and extern efforts. And in a year like no other, I must also thank our graduates, who are certainly a class like no other. First, you will always hold a special place in my heart because you are the first class admitted after I joined the law school in July of 2018. We have spent these 3 years together trying to figure it all out. I am so thankful for all the lessons you have taught me. Second, whether in our JD program or one of our numerous master's programs, for most of you, half or more of your education has taken place during the time of COVID. Thank you for your flexibility, your patience, and your grace. Thank you for staying connected as a student community and continuing to help and support each other. Thank you for your sense of duty, service, and sacrifice. In a time when it has been a huge challenge just to adapt to online classes, isolation, and uncertain work opportunities, many of you have placed to one side those personal issues in order to advocate for justice and equality on behalf of others, whether it be in support of the Black Lives Matter protests that began last summer, or in joining our school efforts to assist those who have negatively been impacted by COVID. You have once again reminded me of your selflessness and the tenacity of our students. Moving forward, my simple message to you as you embark upon the next chapter of your lives is to continue to demonstrate care and concern for others in ways that advance our profession and our society. You are about to transition from acquiring legal knowledge and skills, all that you have learned since you've arrived here, to using those knowledge and skills to meet the needs of clients and to solve our society's most pressing legal problems. In that transition, I hope you will demonstrate the same adaptability you have demonstrated in the last year and a half. I hope you will bring the same tenacity to meeting and overcoming any challenges. I hope you will continue not only to be fueled by our profession's enduring commitments to justice, but also by a sense that our world is made better when we seek to uplift those who enjoy the least of society's advantages. Having witnessed both your talents and your enormous generosity of spirit, I am confident that you will make many positive contributions across the state, region, and globe. Even as you begin to thrive in your careers, I hope you will remain connected to the law school. Our greatest desire for you is that you continue to see UW Law as a place for which you can come to share your experiences and as a partner committed to contributing to your continuing success. Before moving on with the program, I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge the importance of your family and friends. We are thankful to those who have joined us and so grateful for the support that they have provided to our graduates over these 3 years. No person is an island, and in a time when all of us have needed desperately encouragement, you are the village that has allowed our students to persist and thrive. Thank you for the vital role you have played in bringing them to this momentous occasion. Turning inward to the law school, I want to begin tonight by thanking the faculty of law, our librarians, and our staff. When the world moved to a virtual landscape last year, our school shifted how we taught our students swiftly and with determination. Then, when it became clear that we would not be able to return to normal operations as quickly as we had hoped, the community rallied again to provide an entire academic year of remote education. Please know how grateful we are for your commitment to the pursuit of justice and the success of all of our UW Law students. I want to take just a moment at this time to recognize 3 members of our faculty. Professors Craig Allen, Greg Hicks, and Lisa Kelly will be retiring at the end of this academic year. Thank you. You have had amazing careers and contributed enormously to the success of the law school. I would also like to acknowledge the recent retirees from the Gallagher Law Library, Ann Nez and Karen Ballard, as well as Alice Stockey, who co-directed the Legal Education Support for Afghanistan program. We are so grateful for all you have contributed to the School of Law, and we look forward to continuing to have you be involved with us. I also want to thank a colleague who has served our school as a member of the leadership team and who is now transitioning to a new role in Gallagher Law Library, and that is Jonathan Franklin, who is stepping down as our Associate Dean for Library and Information Systems. Graduates, as we celebrate today, we are excited to share many messages of support to mark this great milestone. You will hear from several special guests, including Bob Ferguson, the 18th Attorney General of the great state of Washington, UW alumna Karen Lee, the Chief Executive Officer of Pioneer Human Services, Professor Jeff Feldman, the elected faculty speaker, and student speakers Monica Romero, representing the JD program, and Daniela Krichar, representing graduate programs. It is easy to feel isolated and disconnected right now. Let these remarks be a reminder that you remain a part of a tight-knit and vibrant community who believe in you and your success. While the year like no other was more challenging than most in recent memory, impediments to success will always exist. It is not these roadblocks, however, that will define you, but the creative ways you will find to move around them. I have great confidence in this class and its ability to continue to overcome any and every obstacle. You will go forward. You'll make an impact. You will change the world. And remember, we will always be here to celebrate your achievements and to honor your dedication.
We are honored to welcome the 18th Attorney General of Washington, Bob Ferguson, who will deliver the University of Washington School of Law 2021 Commencement Keynote Address.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. Look, law school is a challenging endeavor, even under the best of circumstances. I think we can all agree. Navigating law school in the middle of a global pandemic makes it especially a big challenge. And so I want to congratulate you on this important moment in your life. Job well done. Now, today in my remarks, I'm going to ask you to do two things. One, I'm going to ask you to do today. The second, I'm going to ask you to do in the coming weeks or maybe the next few months. So first, the first thing I'm going to ask you all to do is to thank the people in your life who helped you reach your goal today. I think we all know that nobody gets through law school just on their own. We all have help. That could be a friend. It could be a faculty member, parents. It could be a spouse or a significant other, a classmate. You know who those people are, and they know who they are as well. In fact, you're probably sitting next to some of them right now while you're part of this ceremony. So turn to those people and thank them for their help in having you reach this point. And if they're not there in the room with you right now, when the ceremony's over, give them a call, send them a text. Hey, write them an old-fashioned letter to thank them for helping you reach this milestone in your life. Now, speaking of thank yous, and speaking of letters, I want to thank the graduates for their invitation to me to join you today. It's especially meaningful because of a letter I received almost exactly 30 years ago from the University of Washington School of Law. I'll read the first sentence. Dear Mr. Ferguson, I am sorry to inform you that in spite of your academic and personal qualifications, we are unable to offer you admission to the University of Washington School of Law. I've still got the letter, I really do. And it was from the assistant dean back at the time. Now, I think we've now clearly established that your legal careers are all off to a more promising start than mine was nearly 30 years ago. So feel free to take whatever I'm about to say to you with a healthy grain of salt. Now, you're graduating at, I think, what can fairly be described as a real tipping point for our country. We're in the midst of a reckoning regarding race, equality, and social justice. Our democracy, during your time in law school, faced a direct, violent assault. Climate change threatens our very way of life. And those are just a few issues. Now, that's the sobering news. The good news is that each and every one of you is now prepared to confront those challenges with something very special. You all now have a law degree from one of the finest law schools in the world. So now comes my question for the class of 2021. What are you going to do with that law degree? Now, of course, I faced that same question all those many years ago. And to help answer it, I reflected on a conversation I had with my father, my late father, when I was a young boy. I think I was 10. And to give you just some brief context for that story, back then I was very serious about chess. That's a long story, but I was very serious about chess. I played in a lot of tournaments. It was a big part of my life as a kid and as a teenager. In any event, when I was 10 years old, my father came to me with a pad of paper and a pen. And he asked me to make a list of my goals for chess. And I remember being a little surprised by that and I sat down and diligently went through and made up a list of my goals. And I remember giving that list to my dad, and he looked at it, and he wasn't satisfied. And he said two words that I've always remembered. He said, "Think bigger." So I went back down to my room and thought as big as I could. And what I came up with for the biggest goal I could think of was to win the Washington State Chess Championship. That's the championship for all players in the state, including adults, of course. Now, look, I might as well have been writing down that I wanted to go on the moon. It seemed that far-fetched. But that was my goal, and I wrote it down. And, the funny thing is, as the years went by, I would sometimes pull that list out. And I would do it after I lost a tournament that was, really painful, or a defeat that was so frustrating, or when I thought about quitting chess altogether. And there was something about looking at that list and seeing my, 10-year-old handwriting and seeing that I'd taken the time to write that goal down that somehow served to refocus me, to center me on what my goal was all those years ago. And 8 years later, I achieved my goal. I won that Washington State Chess Championship when I was 18 years old. I still have that list in my home. And I am sure, beyond any doubt, that I would not have achieved that goal if I'd never written it down. Now, why am I telling you this story? That gets me to my second request for each and every one of you. I want you to write down your goals for how you will use your law degree. The law is a powerful tool, and you now have that in your hands. Make this list soon. Be specific. Short-term goals may include one of my short-term goals, paying off my law school debt. That was a big one. Long-term goals. Write them down. And as you make that list, ask yourself some very important questions. Here's a few I thought about. You will have others. Everybody's list is different, and the way they think about that list is different. But here are a few questions to get you started. Who do I want to represent? What change do I want to see? What issues do I want to advocate? What do I care most about? What work will motivate me to get up in the morning? Who needs a good advocate? Which is a different question than who wants a good advocate. Who needs a good advocate? If you need inspiration, you don't have to look very far. A graduate of this law school, Wing Luke, back in the 1950s, was a civil rights attorney for the Office of Attorney General and briefed and argued some of the most important civil rights cases in our state's histories that led to greater equality for all Washingtonians. He later became a trailblazing elected official, the first Asian American to be elected to elected office in the Northwest. Or if you want a more recent example, the individual who leads my civil rights division, not many years ago at all, was a young woman sitting exactly where you are, Colleen Melody. She now leads the Civil Rights Division, and Colleen has worked in the last few years on some of the most consequential litigation facing our country. Colleen and her team have briefed and argued cases related to the limits of presidential authority, stopping the first Muslim travel ban, ensuring that hundreds of thousands of dreamers across this country can remain in our country with legal status. Colleen now leads that Civil Rights Division, which is actually called the Wing Luke Civil Rights Division. So think about Wing Luke. Think about Colleen. Think about others in your life and in the law who inspire you. And write out your goals for how you're going to take this law degree from the University of Washington and what you're going to do with it. And one more thing. As you make that list, I want you to do one more thing for me. Think bigger. Congratulations to you, the class of 2021.
Please welcome Karen Lee, CEO of Pioneer Human Services and 1994 graduate of UW Law, who will deliver this year's alumni address.
Thank you, Dean Barnes and members of the faculty, for asking me to speak. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here today. As I begin my remarks, I would first like to acknowledge that we are here on lands of the Salish people who have been here from time immemorial. I would also like to acknowledge the suffering and oppression of all races, both white and non-white, but particularly those who have been colonized, enslaved, and mistreated, not only in the United States, but also across the globe. For those that have been enslaved and brought from the shores of Africa, I thank them for their sacrifice and their survival, because without them, I wouldn't be here today. I remember when I graduated from law school in 1994. In some ways, it was a long time ago, and in other ways, it's gone by in the blink of an eye. I remember the day. I remember what I was wearing. I remember the regalia and the weight of it. I remember the smell of it. I remember the hat I was wearing. I remember the excitement of sitting in the audience and the pride and the relief that I was finally through with school. I also remember that I was worried I would not be able to pay my parking fines and I wouldn't be able to pick up my diploma. My parking experiences and my dodging of the parking police when I was here is something that today would make a great sitcom. But we're not here to talk about me today. We're here to talk and focus on you. So we won't talk about any of my parking stories, but rest assured I was able to pay all of my fines and all of my fees and ultimately pick up a copy of my diploma. Today you're a lawyer. Congratulations. Welcome to your alumni family. After today, the initials JD will forever be behind your name. Well done. Welcome to the world of privilege. Because of those two letters, you are now in a different class in our society. And it may not feel that way to you, especially if you come from humble beginnings, but believe me, it's true. Lawyers are respected in our society. They provide counsel and give advice. So suddenly, after today, your words will be weightier, your truth will be truer, your thoughts carry more heft. You have now entered the land of being important. Keep in mind that privilege functions a lot like the land of Oz in the movie Wizard of Oz. It exists in this parallel universe. If you're not careful, you can get caught up in it and not even realize that you are there. Stay humble. Be proximate to others that don't have the blessings that you have received. Be authentic. Be human. Now, your next step is to take and pass the bar. It takes some study, but don't let it stress you. You will pass, and the score will have no bearing on your career. The state of Washington, or whatever state you move to, simply wants to ensure that you learned something while you were here and that you will be ethical. Nothing more, nothing less. In my class, one of my classmates failed the bar 3 times. And guess what? He was the first of us to make partner at a major law firm. And he then went on to become the managing partner at Lane Powell. So truly, do not let the bar worry you. You will pass. It may seem like forever, but before you know it, you will be 7 years in. And you'll be up for partner if you're at a corporate law firm. You'll be an experienced prosecutor or defense attorney. You may own your own firm. The next thing you know, you'll be at the 15-year mark. Your kids will be in middle school. You're going to be a department chair, a fully established partner with institutional clients, a managing attorney in a special area of expertise. You would have argued several times before the Supreme Court. You would have had million-dollar judgments. If you are in policy, like I am, you would have seen and written. You would have struck down bad laws. You would have helped draft good laws. You would have been there for the governor signing, and you would have seen them put into practice. You will have advocated for many of the poor and the oppressed. You are a leader in our public. You could be a dean. You could have written a book. You could be a stay-at-home parent. I began this speech with the statement that you have privilege. With privilege comes power. Don't just live in the land of Oz. Use your power for good. Do you all remember the Spider-Man movie? I know that most of you are younger than I am, but I feel that your parents would have watched it and you would have been sitting there with them. There's a scene in that movie where Spider-Man's father looks to him and says, "With great power comes great responsibility." Well, that quote is true. So seek out opportunity to use your power and speak your truth. Advise with authenticity. Keep your heart soft and your head humble. Be a part of righting the wrongs of discrimination, systemic suppression, and overt hate. When you pass the bar, you will take an oath. You will swear to uphold our profession, and one of the clauses says that you will never reject or delay the cause of an oppressed or defenseless person. That clause doesn't just speak to people that are in the position of defending someone as their representative. It speaks to the humanity of helping to protect the oppressed that don't have any other defense. In any way we interact with that human. So therefore, follow your oath. Don't forget it. Advance goodness, advance equity, advance redemption. Congratulations, class of 2021. I'm proud of you. Welcome to the ranks of the purple and gold that hail from Gates Hall. I hope to see you in real life very soon, and I wish you all the best on your special day and in your career, and I wish you many blessings. Thank you.
Please welcome Professor Jeff Feldman, who will deliver this year's faculty address.
Good evening, Dean Barnes, Attorney General Ferguson, and our other honored guests, my distinguished colleagues on the faculty, and most of all, members of the class of 2021. I'm deeply honored by the opportunity to participate in tonight's ceremonies and to celebrate your success and accomplishment. Tonight is the culmination of 3 years of study and very hard work, not to mention the resilience, tenacity, discipline, and patience required to have completed almost half of your professional studies online and during a pandemic. My heartfelt congratulations to each of you. And to the parents, spouses, partners, and extended families, few, if any, of our graduates made it here alone. We know that there were many acts of sacrifice and support along the way. Our appreciation and congratulations to all of you as well. Over the past 3 years, many of you have heard some stories from my years of practice, including the now legendary presentation I made during your 1L year titled, "The 10 Dumbest Things I Did as a Lawyer." I will note that it was the first and probably will be the last time that presentation ever sees the light of day. So I thought about what I could share with you as you walk virtually out of Gates Hall tonight, and I decided I would touch on 2 things. And the first is the value of failure, and the second is what we didn't teach you in law school. I had a good run as a trial lawyer for many years. The truth is, if you exercise good judgment, settle the cases that you cannot win, and try the ones that you can rack up some pretty good numbers over time. But what happens when you can't settle or win? What then? As some of you know, some years ago, I took on a death penalty case in Texas. Tough case. Elroy Chester committed 5 murders over the course of 6 months in the small town of Port Arthur, Texas. He was convicted by a jury, and he was sentenced to die. No question, Elroy's crimes were horrific, but he should not have been given a capital sentence. Shortly after his conviction, the United States Supreme Court held, in a case called Atkins, that intellectually disabled offenders are less culpable morally, and that executing them violates the Eighth Amendment's prohibition on cruel and unusual punishment. Elroy was and always had been intellectually disabled, and profoundly so. He had an IQ of 59, and he struggled with the daily activities of normal life. So the rule of law said that his life should have been spared. But Texas disagreed, and he was scheduled for execution when I took on his case. The mission? Make the wheels of justice roll backwards, unwind the result, and get his death sentence set aside. Like I said, tough case. Also a long case. 10 years, 2 trials, 6 appeals to every court between Beaumont, Texas, and Washington, D.C., including 2 Supreme Court petitions, each of which came within 1 vote of being granted. And then, when it was done, on a warm, clear, sunny day in July, Texas executed Elroy Chester. It was by far my greatest failure as a lawyer. Now, was it all wasted effort? It's a reasonable question. Sometimes it felt like it. But there is, I found, value, if not nobility, in failure. My failure in Texas changed me, both as a person and as a lawyer. It sharpened my focus. It hardened my resolve. I saw the law and my worth as a lawyer in a very different light after Texas. My perception of justice and of the process by which it is rendered were irrevocably altered. It was the most difficult, the least remunerative, and the most rewarding thing I did as a lawyer. I did not save Elroy's life, but I tried. And that actually was the last thing Elroy said to me. Thank you for trying. Elroy's case laid the groundwork for a decision just 2 years later by the Supreme Court, finally declaring the Texas test for intellectual disability unconstitutional. It was the same issue that I had been fighting and losing for more than a decade. I had the right legal issue. I had the right argument. I just had the wrong case and the wrong moment in time. Now, there's a well-known old Irish story. Former Attorney General Sally Yates once told it after she had been fired by the president for refusing to enforce the first travel ban order. And it's about a man who dies and arrives at the gates of heaven and asks to be admitted. And St. Peter says, "Of course, show me your scars." And the man says, "Scars? I have no scars." And St. Peter replies, "Pity, was there nothing worth fighting for?" Well, as Attorney General Yates courageously understood, and as you all know, especially in light of the events of the past year, there is today much that is worth fighting for. Protecting the environment, civil justice for immigrants and disadvantaged, criminal justice reform, a system where our prisons aren't disproportionately filled with people of color, social and economic justice, protecting reproductive rights and marriage equality, protecting the rule of law, the right to vote, judicial independence, all very much worth fighting for. And there's more. My generation is leaving you a big bucket of unfinished work. And as you fight for these things, you will sometimes succeed, and you will often fail. I have come to see failure as part of a continuing and collective journey that we all are traveling. Failure is an unavoidable part of the process by which the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, as Martin Luther King so eloquently explained. And there are rewards to be found in failure, if admittedly also sometimes deep sadness and disappointment. So what to do in the face of failure? Well, to steal a line from the Irish playwright Samuel Beckett, try again, fail better. And that gets me to the second thing I thought I would talk to you about, and it's related, and that is what we didn't teach you in law school. And for the record, Dean Barnes has asked that I make it clear that there will be no tuition refunds at the conclusion of my comments. I will note that I'm consistently awed and inspired by my colleagues on the faculty. And in time, you will find that you have been exceptionally well trained as lawyers. But there are things that we don't and actually can't teach, but are essential to good lawyering. And this is true almost irrespective of the particular area of practice that you may pursue. What am I referring to? Things like how to listen, closely and with all your senses, so you take note of when the pitch of someone's voice, or the placement of their hands, or the movement of their eyes indicates fear or forthrightness or deception. Things like the critical quality of empathy, the ability to feel and understand someone else's pain and experience. Judgment, very tough to teach, but application of sound judgment is probably the most difficult and the most valuable thing that a lawyer offers. An understanding of how people are affected by the justice system, emotionally, economically, psychologically. We taught you what the law looks like and what the law sounds like, the soaring cadence and rhythms of the Constitution. You've mastered that well. But consider, what does the law feel like? What does it feel like to have a child taken away from you? Or to be deprived of liberty, even for a day, let alone for 20 or 30 years? What does it feel like to be at risk of having the thing you spent 5 years of your life inventing or designing stolen or misappropriated by someone else? What does it feel like to be threatened or hurt, violated or cheated? I would argue that understanding how the law feels, or more specifically, how the imposition of law on a person feels, is as critical to good lawyering and exercising sound professional judgment as is knowledge of case law or the rules of procedure. And it's all very tough to teach. You will learn most of this on your own in the years ahead. Look for people along the way who can help you. But more than anything else, listen and watch very carefully. What you need to know is out there. You just have to be open and curious enough to understand it. Most of you will not have careers focused exclusively on public service, but you all will have the ability and the opportunity to take on some work with a greater purpose. It is possible to do well and to do good at the same time. So reserve space in your lives and in your careers for both. It may change the course of your life in rewarding ways that would be very hard to imagine today. I can't recall who first made the observation, but it's true that a person with courage and a well-drafted complaint can bring an industry to its knees, can hold government officials, even a president, accountable, can right a wrong, can save a life, or can try and save a life. The law, I have found, can have extraordinary impact. But by itself, the law is just words and books. That's it. To realize that extraordinary impact, it needs the efforts of human beings, lawyers. It doesn't happen without you. So in whatever way may be your own, find ways to use the skills that you have learned over the past 3 years to advance the force of the law for good. Be part of that collective effort to bend the arc of the moral universe toward justice. No doubt, you will definitely pick up some scars along the way, but maybe you can take some comfort in knowing that you also will be in good company when you do. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this great passage with you tonight. I truly have loved teaching you, and I am beyond confident about your readiness for all that lies ahead. Congratulations to you all.
Please welcome Monica Romero, who will deliver the Juris Doctorate student remarks.
Thank you to the class of 2021 for choosing me to be your student speaker. To the parents, families, siblings, mentors, friends, and communities who are joining us virtually tonight and who have stuck by us as we have navigated the transformative experience the past 3 years have been, thank you for your patience, encouragement, and unconditional love and guidance. To the faculty, staff, academic services, librarians, custodial services, and baristas at Supreme Cup, while we have not seen many of you in some time, thank you for your words of kindness, for taking care of our law school, for fueling our caffeine addictions, and for imparting your knowledge onto us. When I sat down to write this speech last week, the first thing that came into my mind was one question. How do I even begin to approach what we've been through without trivializing it? A pandemic, a racial reckoning, a tumultuous election season, and insurrection, just to name a few. I mean, remember when the conversation filling the walkways of Gates Hall was how hot or cold room 127 was going to be on a given day? Memories of 1L Law Prom and what snacks we were going to get for our late night study sessions in the library. I can't even begin to say how the events of the past year and a half have impacted us individually and as a class. But what I can say is that in the face of this hardship and precarity, I bore witness to an unbelievable degree of resilience. You brought our communities much needed legal aid through the COVID-19 Clearinghouse Project. You doubled as your kids' teachers. You balanced life from a different time zone. You marched for Black lives and spoke out against anti-Asian hate and apartheid. You mobilized legal resources and representation for your fellow protesters. You advocated for the safety and release of your incarcerated clients. You organized and argued some of the first virtual mock trial and moot court competitions in the nation. You continually pushed UW Law to be a better, more accountable, inclusive space. You challenged our profession's commitment to equity by petitioning for diploma privilege. You read for class and attended Zoom lecture. I know from firsthand experience that that is a success in and of itself. And you took care of each other when we needed it most. Some of you did this as people of color, as members of the LGBTQ community, as first-generation students, as immigrants, as women, in the face of all other pressures and systems pushing against your presence in this institution and in this profession. I'm honored to have seen this class's resilience and honored to learn from it and find strength in it. A lot of commencement speeches end by telling graduates that they're going to go off and do great things for the world. I don't need to remind this class to do that. I've watched you do that for the past 3 years. There is no doubt in my mind that you will lawyer radically and passionately for our communities. Instead, I'd like to end this speech by telling my peers something I don't think we've heard enough and that might be extra important as we prepare to take a remote bar exam. Be gentle on yourself, be forgiving of yourself, and take it easy. No one else will ever know what exactly this time was like for us. And we don't know what the next year will hold or the next 5 years or beyond. But the fact that we made it, that we are graduating here today, even if on live stream, is a testament to the fact that we can make it through anything. Congratulations, class of 2021. We made it.
Please welcome Daniela Krichar, who will deliver this year's graduate student remarks.
Hello, my fellow graduates. It is my honor to speak for you today. When I found out that I could be chosen as a graduate speaker, I was honored and excited. However, the anxiety started kicking in really quickly. As you can tell, English is not my first language, and in addition, I don't have experience with public speaking. Therefore, I did what a typical law student would do. I spent some time doing research, trying to learn more about public speaking skills. The first video I watched explained how the reason why we experience public speaking fear is because we are making it about us. When we are fearful and nervous, we are afraid how other people might see us. Well, today it's not about me. It is about the class of 2021, the class that has shown incredible resilience and persistence. Although this is not how we envisioned it would be. Regardless, we share the law school experience together. We have gone through endless amount of readings. We supported each other. We did our best to connect and get to know each other, despite the pandemic, even though it was not easy. In the words of Brené Brown, integrity is choosing courage over comfort, choosing what is right over what is fast, fun, or easy, and choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. Today, I am choosing courage over comfort by standing here in front of you and sharing my story with you. Although it might not be comfortable, by opening ourselves and allowing to truly be seen might be the only way to connect with each other. Like many others before me, I came to this country with only one suitcase in hand, afraid that I would never really fit in. My fear was deeply rooted, as my entire family has been forced to leave our home at Kosovo as a civil war refugees, virtually overnight, and moved to central Serbia. I was only 9 years old. Our lives were completely upended. We had to leave behind our house, possessions, sources of income, and any hope of having a good life. We were grateful, of course, for having found safety, but the situation left a deep mark on our life. At time, I began to wonder, where is home now? And where do I belong? I only knew that I wanted a better life for myself and my family. Higher education was not an automatic path in my family, but having witnessed injustice and unfairness that war refugee and other people in my home country had suffered, I was inspired to pursue a career in law. After obtaining a Bachelor of Law degree and gaining a considerable amount of practical legal experience, I applied for and was fortunate to obtain a green card for a diversity visa lottery. When I first arrived in the United States, I was in a way reliving an emotional experience of a terrified 9 years old war refugee back in Serbia, afraid I would not fit in. However, I was able to overcome my insecurities and replace the fear with strong feeling of purpose, to pursue my central desire to help others. I was grateful to be able to pursue my legal education at one of the best law schools in the country, the University of Washington School of Law. I was blessed to be in a law school community that shared my passion for using the law to achieve a real progress toward justice. The LLM program has been one of the biggest challenges of my academic life, and at the beginning, meeting the demands of law school was challenging. As you know, it was exhilarating, intimidating, sometimes even discouraging. However, the supportive environment and welcoming culture in our law schools made the adjustment easier. The feeling that I can learn so much, not only from professors, but also from classmates, was a rewarding experience. I enjoyed exposure to all these different perspectives, and I was grateful that I get to learn from my classmates about different views, experiences, cultures, and languages. However, being surrounded with so many accomplished professors and classmates, it was easy for my old insecurities to kick back in and to start doubting myself. It is common for law students to feel like they do not belong, to feel inadequate and incompetent. Despite the fear of saying the wrong thing or something that would mark me as someone who does not deserve to be here, I asked clarifying questions. I sought help or advice when I felt like I needed, and I shared my opinion, even though it differed from others. At the beginning, it was terrifying, but each time it was a rewarding experience, and I never regret it. Our law school supportive community, with people who were trying to lift each other up, made all the difference. I have made some meaningful connections and friends for life. We are all grateful for our professors who did everything they can to help us through this extraordinary time. A special thank you to Professor Agrotsky, who was supportive, thoughtful, and engaging while creating safe space for arguments and discussion about some enormously important topics. We are grateful for Professor Sanford, our constant companion, who most often works with international students who want to prepare the bar exam, and for her dedication to work with us unconditionally until we pass the bar. To Dean Enter and her valuable advice regarding future steps in my career. And finally, to my classmates, who have been supportive to each other while we were all going through the same difficulties and uncertainties. The fact that we are here today celebrating our success despite the pandemic speaks how blessed we are. We worked hard despite the fear and agony that last year and this year event has brought, because we knew that there is a value to our hard work. While initially, I thought that the value is the actual knowledge of the law, rules, and established legal concepts. Today I know that is not. It is who we have become, how we grow, and how we are there for each other. Today, I am grateful for all these experiences and struggles through law school, but also in my life. Because today I know this is how we grow. This is how we are there for each other and have more empathy. As Brené Brown said, you either walk inside your story and you own it, or you stand outside your story and hustle for your worthiness. I now stand here to tell you not to live your life fearing of other people's opinions, fearing that you might not fit in. Do not pretend to have the right answers. Ask questions. Have courage. Do not avoid difficult conversation. Show up with your whole heart. Do not focus only on professional achievements. Instead, use your inner voice, intuition. No matter which career path you will choose, private or public sector. No matter will you practice law in your home country or in the United States. Use your own unique story and our profession to make difference. Commencement means the beginning. This is the beginning of us using lawyering skills, but primarily not forgetting to be human while fostering justice in the world. Thank you for the privilege of speaking for you today. It was my honor, and I'm grateful for my husband, my parents, my family, friends, classmates, and law school professors. I can now proudly say that I belong.
Dean Mario L. Barnes will now present the Student Awards.
I am pleased to recognize the Dean's Medalists for 2021, a special recognition for a combination of academic excellence and overall contributions to student life. The awards this year go to Dayton Campbell Harris and Emily Williams. Dayton Campbell Harris has been involved in the Washington Innocence Project, the Black Law Student Association, Moot Court, the Student Bar Association, Cyber Law Association, and the Washington International Law Journal, for which he served as editor-in-chief this past year. Professionally, he has worked for organizations on opposite sides of the courtroom in the public and private sectors. In March, Dayton and his Washington Innocence Project co-counsel took a client's case to the Washington Supreme Court for oral argument. Emily Williams has a stellar academic record. She is first in her class, and she has received Cali Excellence for the Future Awards for earning the top grade in 4 courses. She has also been a long-standing, dedicated advocate for environmental law. Building on her undergraduate study in environmental sciences, Emily has worked for the Port Gamble Sklallam Tribes In-House Council on environmental and other issues. She has also published a paper in the Washington Law Review on an issue that is, sadly, of increasing importance: wildfire smoke and the Clean Air Act. Dayton and Emily are just two of our outstanding graduates. In the back of the commencement program are the names of graduating students recognized for their academic and leadership achievements, to include editorial boards of our 4 journals, moot court, clinical advocates, pro bono honorees, and students with extraordinary records in service and scholarship in all of our programs. You can view the program on the ceremony webpage. Congratulations to all of our graduates for their outstanding achievements.
We will now present the University of Washington School of Law 2021 Doctorate of Philosophy degree candidates and recipients. Fabio Ambrosio, Haley Perkins.
I'd like to congratulate those of you in the class of 2021. It's been a long and arduous process, and there's one more hurdle, the bar exam. But after that, you'll be a lawyer and you will be able to do really wonderful things for people. There's a lot for you to look forward to. I will say this about being a lawyer: you may have some bad days, but you'll never have a boring one. So congratulations, class of 2021.
You already proved that you are resilient for graduating during a pandemic. Let this resiliency shine on every step you take in your life. Congratulations, class of 2021. You did it.
Congratulations, graduates. You have made it through hours of Zooming. You have made it through social distancing. And now you are ready to go out and use that law degree and hopefully be meeting with clients in person, doing public service in person, and just making your mark in the world. So congratulations, and I can't wait to read about you and all the wonderful things that you are all going to accomplish in the future.
We will now present the University of Washington School of Law 2021 Juris Doctor degree candidates and recipients. Temi Alagbala, Abigail Aldridge, Rachel Anderley, Mike Angulo, Nikki Arate, Layla Zainab Bagson, Sherry Barrett Perry, Lucas Berenger, Alexandra Bartos O'Neill, Adrian Bateman, Angelina Marie Berberick Arabout, Charles Berry, Milena Rose Boom, John Boone, Justin Brasher, Raina Brinkman, Colby Cameron, Dayton Campbell Harris, Benjamin Daniel Kinnaid, Britt Aram Carlson, Jeef Chandra, Shiyun Chen, Yi Ning Chan, Sarah Chicoine, Nathaniel Close, Sam Cohen, Danny Cooney, Jackie Cross, Emina Dacic, Paul Dodson, Emily Grace Donahue, Grace Edgar, Emily Erickson, Don Escarcega, Garrett Evans, Taylor Fairchild, Haley Ferguson, Julia Fleming, Deepak George, Ryan Giannini, Molly Gibbons, Catherine Gillum, Devin Casota Glaser, Raquel Glassner, Rachel Gluckman, Jessica Lizette Gonzalez, Jasjeet Gray Wall, Jason Grube, Becky Gula, Scott Gutierrez, Katie Haas, Olivia Michelle Hagel, Simrit Kaur Hans, Dylan Harlow, Meredith Ann Harris, Stephen J. Hatton, Emma Healy, Christopher Hightower, McKenna Hofford, Annie Holden, Erica Holman, Chelsea Hollub, Samantha Hunt, Sean Hyde, Adam Eob, Shweta Jayawarden, Emily Kawaigashi, Shafina Karim Kaki, A.J. Kidd, Jeremy Knight. Daly Catherine Koga. Sarah Cohan. Emily Kruger. Gwen La. Christopher Lee. Theodore Lee. Stephen Lester. Benjamin Liu. Ruth Liu. Beatrice Lucas. Aliana Luke. Robin Lustig. Paula Liu. Eleanor Rose Lyon. Matthew Mackey. Nicholas Joseph Matiatos. Connor McCauley. Anthony James McCluskey. Kate McCracken. Kenneth McNeil. Katrina Pauline Mendoza. Caitlin Miller. Robert Morgan. Kyle Murphy. Riley Neff Warner. Alex Nelson. Selena Ing. Grace Ka'ai Nguyen. Tony Nickel. Eden Benet Nordby. Ashleen O'Brien. Jeremy Olson. Olivia Ortiz. Willa Osborne. Rebecca Paley Williams. Hannah Parman. Andy Peroff. Sarah Patsiga. Levi Polly. Samantha Pelto. Dean Lawrence Petita. Danny Reedy. Zachary Rentschler. Morgan Robertson. Katie Robinson. Monica Romero. Joshua Randall Maka Eoleni Rosenberg. Rebecca Ross. Ariel Roeder. Brent Rothman. Mary Anastasia Ruffin. Elizabeth Runtz. Amani Abdul Samad. Corinne Sebrin. Jennifer Seeley. Ramsha Shakir. Malak Shalabi. Adriana Simonelli. Rachel Sinsheimer. Elisa Smith. Hillary Smith. Max Spalding. Madeline Spencer. Elena Victoria Stevens. Mackenzie Curran Stewart. Ashley Stahl. Josephine Strauss. Kai Ashby Subic Scadam. Paige Sousley. Farhad Sultani. Rolf Torin. Derek Sang. Stephanie Verdoya. Tierney Vile. Jasmine Verk. Anthony Vo. Ian Ezra Walsh. Catherine Wan. Shangar Christina Wong. Nicholas Wedekind. Logan Westerman. Michael White. Emily Ann Williams. Levi Williams. Tim Wolf. Marissa Wolfson. Archer Wu. Tanner Jackson Kazuo Yamada. Connor Yi.
Congratulations, class of 2021. It has been a real pleasure getting to know each of you during your time at UW Law. We have loved seeing you in the library and the reference office, both physically and virtually, and know that you will all take the knowledge you've gained and the skills you've honed here to make a real impact in the world around you. So today is the start of a new chapter for you all, and it's a real testament to your hard work. As you take off to start new adventures, I hope you'll remember that you have a lot of fans here at UW Law cheering you on, and we can't wait to see what you accomplish. Cheers to you all.
Greetings, 2021 graduates of the University of Washington School of Law. My name is Joel Benalil, and I am a 1971 graduate of the University Law School. And for you math majors out there, you've just figured out that I'm enjoying a 50th anniversary of my graduation. So I'm currently in my 6th year on the university's Board of Regents. I chaired the board last year and did not have the pleasure of standing on the podium handing out your diplomas, and I will not again this year. So I wanted to participate in this brief video message. This is an unusual year in an unusual time, and the world is an unusual place. But I think you'll find that the background and the education that and the achievements that you've notched will serve you well in the future, as they did for me going back so many years ago. I chose for my virtual background for this, wearing my regalia so that you wouldn't be cheated out of seeing a regent as you would see those of us at normal commencement ceremonies wearing our university regalia. My background is the quad, where Condon Hall sat, now Gowan Hall. When I went to law school, we were in the quad with the original law school on the campus. Those cherry trees were replanted into the quad in 1962. They were in the university's arboretum, and they were going to be destroyed with the expansion and completion of the 520 bridge. So rather than see that, they were transplanted into the quad. And when I started as a freshman in 1963 on campus, we were the first class to see them blossom. So they always hold a very special place for me. With that, I want to wish you all the very best and tell you that even though those cherry blossoms, those cherry trees look like they've always been there, they're a latecomer in terms of the history of our campus. And just like the blossoms come every year, they also disappear. So nothing is permanent. You have to continue working hard and pursue your goals, and you will achieve them. I wish you the very best. Congratulations.
We will now present the University of Washington School of Law 2021 Master of Laws candidates and recipients. Asian and Comparative Law. Fang Zhang Yu. General Law. Prachi Agrawal. Ismail Baker. Poonam Bora. Karina Kwok de los Santos. Marilia Dipe. Kip M. Hustis. Sanita Kunga. Daniela Krikar. Leah Matavin. Rosemary Reiner. Irina Rasanova. Zinera Tarek. James Williams. Samuel Worko. Yian Xie. Yuan Yang, Ling Zhuang, Global Business Law, Natalie Anturi, Jing Kong, Jujana Clara, Toshiaki Satake, Wei Yi Yin, Health Law, Kristen Amanda Babik, Shivam Gumber, Eno Useve Sampson, Christina Sisserman Gray, Intellectual Property Law and Policy, Xiaoman Bian, Byron Green, Tian Hai Jiang, David Kang, Shuyi Li, Andrea Kinglock Louis, Amara Posarapang, Koji Yasuda, Josephine O. Young, Sustainable International Development Law, Rhoda Justine Adeke, Michelle Eichleman, Sherry Barrett Perry, Maria Ferdinanda Chacon, Kirsten Gregory, Alexander Hilborn, Shafina Karim Kaki, Novita Lianga Komala, Lu Li, Johanna Mora Hernandez, Tony Nickel, Nicole Pace, Hannah Ravani, Manvir Sandhu, Molly Spector, Mian Harris Yassin, Taxation, Osama Ali Al-Salama, Joseph Banks, Angela Boyce, Catherine Brennan, Chase Calvin, Daniel James French, Benjamin Goody, Rebecca Klivak, Colleen Lamotte, Grady Leask, Benjamin McPherson, Jack McClellan, Shad O. McComber, Orit Ruben Mendelson, W. Tom Mosingo, Sarah Patsiga, Darcy Renfelt, Ashwarya Singh, Aneta Stefaniak, Ellen Tung, Patience Veloza, Logan Westerman.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. We are so proud of all that you've accomplished here and the community that you've built over your past 3 years as a law dog. We really look forward to celebrating your future successes. And on behalf of myself and the JD admissions team, we want to say again, congratulations and good luck.
UW Law grads, Blaine Tamaki, UW Law School class of 1982 here. Founder of Tamaki Law and incoming chair of the UW Board of Regents, which governs the University of Washington. Hey, right now, this moment, I want you to take a deep, deep breath and look at how high you've climbed up the ladder. You're a future lawyer from the undisputed very top law school in the entire Pacific Northwest, the University of Washington. And you're now armed with the legal mind and skills to make a difference. Congratulations. Now, what are you waiting for? Go make a difference.
Hi, everyone. Over the last year, it's been so inspiring to see how all of you have responded to these challenges that we've been facing with so much energy and resolve. It's true that the world is filled with opportunities, but it's also filled with obstacles. And you've already shown in such a meaningful way how you respond to that combination. Congratulations on earning your degree. I cannot wait to see the steps that each of you takes down the paths that you've opened.
Well, you made it. Was it tough? I bet it was tough, especially during these unprecedented times. But I'm also sure that you met some among the smartest and coolest people around. And you shared happy and sad moments with your colleagues. And this created ties that will keep you bounded to each other for many years. You achieved a very important milestone today, one of many yet to come. Enjoy this moment and feel it under your skin. Congratulations, Huskies.
We will now present the University of Washington School of Law 2021 Master of Jurisprudence candidates and recipients. Xinyue Ba, Sarah Bach, Rick Burkholtz, Cheryl Brady, Jacqueline Camacho, Xinyi Chu, Jennifer Fenswick, Christina Kim Fried, Sarah Fresen, Patricia Hayes, Grace Gung, Richard Herrera, Melissa Irish, Amy Jankowiak, Isabella Rose Jane B. Junio, Sarah Karp, Nidhi Kumar, Rachel Last, Josephine Semi Lee, Alexander Lopez, Daniel Lopez, Xian He Luo, Emery Morrow, Timothy O'Brien, Nadine Paultep, Catherine Parsons, Aja Phipps, Chelsea Rivas, Telia Scott, Chen Shen, Sukin Shim, Mick Stanovsek, Prema Vijaykrishnan, Evan Walker, Yi Jin Wang, Becky Waski, Ming Tsi Zhuang.
Hey, congratulations, everyone. I'm going to say the same thing that probably everyone else has said in these messages, which is what an incredibly difficult year. And if you can get through this and get through law school during everything that you've gone through, practice is probably going to seem like a walk in the park. You've all worked really hard. You all deserve it. We're all proud of you. I'm certainly proud of you. And congratulations, graduates.
Congratulations to the class of 2021. I am so delighted to be here today to congratulate you in this tremendous achievement. We all know that legal education and law school is challenging, and this year even more so. And I want all of you to know that I have seen the struggles you've gone through. I've seen you rise to the occasion. I've seen you work harder than ever to be successful. And I want each and every one of you to know how proud I am of you, and that I look forward to hearing about what you do going forward. So for now, study hard if you're taking the bar exam, and know that I'm always here if you need me.
Hi, this is Professor Ramasastry, and I want to extend my heartfelt congratulations to the JD, LLM, MJ, and PhD graduates of the class of 2021. Congratulations. As a faculty member, this is a really happy day for me to see how far you've all come, and to really congratulate you on sticking with it and making such a significant achievement during an unprecedented time like the pandemic. It's really great to see where you are, but it's even going to be greater to see where you are going to go. So we're proud of you now, but as faculty members, we continue to be proud of you as we watch you and your careers progress in the years to come.
Please welcome back Dean Mario L. Barnes for closing remarks.
Thank you for joining this celebration. Before we end our ceremony, I invite you to remain connected to UW Law as volunteers, as advocates, or even as followers on our social media channels. We are so proud of you. Congratulations, class of 2021, a class like no other, and welcome to the alumni community. Stay safe, be healthy. Good evening.